You ever notice how payday feels like oxygen? And then 3 days later, you're tugging at a tight collar again? If you've ever stared at your bank app wondering where your money went, listen closely. Because the reason you're broke isn't hidden in your budget, it's embedded in your brain. And no one taught you how it works. Today, I'm going to show you the invisible patterns that keep you stuck, the cravings, the triggers, the identity traps, so you can finally break them on purpose. Not with willpower, with understanding. Let's start with the moment right before you spend. You feel a pull in your chest, a small rush behind the eyes, like gravity tilting your attention forward. That's dopamine, anticipation chemistry. It's the "maybe this will make everything feel better" whisper. But here's the trick. Dopamine spikes before the purchase, not after. Your brain isn't chasing the product, it's chasing the promise. That buy now button isn't selling you a thing, it's selling you a future where you feel enough. And that's why you keep swiping. You're not buying objects, you're renting hope. Look at the micro moments that set you off. You open your phone when you're bored or anxious, you scroll past a clean, bright ad that tells a story about a cooler, calmer version of you, and your brain lights up. A tiny stress, a tiny relief, and suddenly the purchase feels like a solution. You think you're deciding, but most of the time, you're reacting. You're in a loop. Trigger, impulse, reward, regret, repeat. The loop has no villain. It's just efficient. It's how your mind reduces discomfort fast, and it's how companies print profits from your pain. There's something else happening. Identity economics. You don't buy headphones, you buy the feeling that you're the kind of person who knows good sound. You don't buy a jacket, you buy "I belong." Every purchase whispers a sentence about who you are or who you want to be seen as. When your identity is rented from brands, you pay rent every month. That's why it never ends. Consumption is a treadmill. The speed increases with every upgrade. The status you felt on day 1 evaporates by day 7, and your brain asks for another hit like it's hydrating. The more you chase status, the more you feel empty without it. The more empty you feel, the more you spend to fill the space. That's the cycle. And it doesn't care how much you earn. You're fighting more than temptation. You're fighting architecture. Stores funnel you past high-margin items first. Apps color their buttons like emergency exits for your attention. Only 2 left isn't information, it's engineered scarcity. Reviews pile into social proof, someone else's confidence borrowed by your brain in a rush. The path is paved to make yes frictionless and no feel like loss. Think about it. How often does "I'll just check" end with "I'll just buy"? That's not lack of discipline, that's design. Your environment is coaching your brain to choose now over later, because later can't shout as loud. Here's a harder truth. You tell yourself stories that make spending feel responsible. I deserve this. It's on sale. It's an investment. Sometimes that's true. Most times, it's narrative anesthesia. You don't want to feel the sting of saying no because saying no can feel like denying your future self. So you say yes and call it self-care. But if self-care costs you your calm next week, it wasn't care. It was escape. The problem isn't the item. The problem is the moment before the item, the moment no one taught you how to hold. Let's talk about the budget myth. You think a spreadsheet will fix impulse. A spreadsheet is a map. Impulse is weather. The map doesn't change the storm, but you can change how you travel in it. Wealthy behavior isn't about moral superiority or iron will. It's about systems that make the right choice feel automatic. They hide the candy, not the appetite. They architect their environment so that their future wins by default. If your money is always waiting for you in an account you can touch, your brain will touch it. If your savings disappear into a vault you can't feel, your brain forgets it exists. And that's good. Out of sight cancels the trigger. Now watch the month unfold in 4 beats. Beat 1, relief. Payday lands, tension loosens, you feel alive. Beat 2, reward. You buy something small, not because you truly want it, but because you want to mark the feeling of "I survived." Beat 3, drift. Recurring subscriptions nibble your balance while you're busy living, and you stop tracking the nibbles. Beat 4, scramble. Unexpected expense appears, you panic, and the panic teaches your brain that money equals stress. Then the next payday arrives, and you reward yourself for surviving stress again. That rhythm trains your nervous system to pair money with relief and relief with spending. You're broke not because you're incapable, but because your emotional conditioning treats money as medicine. Let's zoom into a single impulse with the camera slow. You wake up slightly anxious, you open your phone, you see someone living a quieter life than yours on a beach you've never touched. You pause on a travel ad. Your chest tightens. You feel a flicker of, I need something new. You flip to a store. You add to cart. You almost buy, and right there is the pivot point. If you can hold that flicker without obeying it, you learn a new skill, sitting with unsatisfied desire. Desire is loud. Fulfillment is quiet. But money grows in quiet. So, how do you pull this off without becoming a monk? You retune the reward. If saving feels like exile, you'll rebel. If saving feels like winning, you'll chase it. Your brain loves feedback. Give it feedback for the right thing. Track your savings like a game level. Clear numbers, visible progress, tick marks for set victories. Celebrate in ways that don't reset the loop. Celebrate with time, with experiences that don't tap your card, with the satisfaction of choosing your future over 5-minute mood. Your brain doesn't care if the reward is cash or a check mark. It cares that the reward exists. Make the right habits rewarding on purpose. Here's a thought that changes the gravity of every decision. Money is stored time. Every dollar is minutes of your life crystallized. When you spend on impulse, you trade future minutes for present seconds. When you invest, you buy back hours you haven't lived yet. That's not poetry, that's math with a heartbeat. The moment you see dollars as time, you stop hemorrhaging them to moods. You start asking, is this worth my weekend? And sometimes the answer is yes, but when it's no, you feel relief instead of deprivation, because you just kept a piece of your life. There's another trap. Future you is blurry. Present you is vivid. That bias is called present bias. Your brain overweights the now because the now is loud. Make future you loud. Name them. Visualize their day. Don't imagine a pile of cash. Imagine a morning where you don't check your phone in fear. Imagine a week without a single "please clear your payment" email. Imagine saying yes to opportunities without asking your account for permission. Bring those scenes into focus until the future feels more real than the ad in front of you. When your future becomes vivid, your present impulses weaken. And sometimes the reason you spend isn't dopamine, it's dignity. You're tired of being told no. You're tired of feeling behind. You're tired of missing out. So you buy the feeling of, I chose this. That is human. Honor it without letting it run your life. If dignity is the need, find dignity that doesn't drain you. Choose a ritual that costs little and means much. A weekly walk in a place that makes you feel powerful. A journal where you track wins. A skill you practice that compounds. Spending will never give you dignity permanently. Mastery does. Let's talk about subscriptions, the quiet thieves. You don't feel the loss each month because the pain is tiny and hidden. The psychology is simple. Micro-pain escapes attention. You beat it by making pain visible. Once a month, turn your finances into a single-page view. No categories, just a number. Money that leaves without asking. Watch it. The moment you see the number, your brain recalibrates. When pain is visible, decisions get honest. Deals trick you differently. 50% off reads like found money. But you didn't find money. You found a smaller way to lose it. If you planned to buy it and you saved, that's smart. If the deal made you want it, that's manipulation.
Ask one question before every discount purchase. Would I want this at full price tomorrow? Tomorrow breaks the spell because impulse is anchored to now. Want that test to hit harder? Move the money you would have spent into savings immediately. Feel the win. You just bought your future at a discount. What about friends, social pulls, the let's go out pressure? Humans mirror humans. You spend like your circle spends. That doesn't mean ditch your friends. It means architect the plan. Decide your yes thresholds before the invite arrives. When the moment comes, you're not improvising, you're executing. If your circle ridicules your plan, that's data. A circle that laughs at your boundaries is a circle that profits from your erosion. You deserve better. You deserve people who high-five when your future wins. If you've ever said, "When I make more, I'll stop being broke," here's the uncomfortable truth. You will scale your habits with your income. More money without new patterns, just louder spending. It's not a moral failure, it's a momentum problem. Momentum flows toward what's easy. Make building easier than buying. Automate the first move. The moment money lands, redirect a slice where you can't touch it without effort. Effort kills impulse and rewards intention. That's the point. Structure beats strength when strength is tired. I want you to watch one thing happen across the next 30 days. You will have a purchase that feels like oxygen. You'll think, if I don't get this, I'll suffocate. If you can hold for 24 hours, the suffocation feeling will shrink. If after 24 hours you still want it, buy it if it fits your plan. If the feeling fades, celebrate the fade. You just trained your brain to survive discomfort without outsourcing relief. That skill is wealth, not money, wealth. You don't need to fear spending forever. You need to install meaning where impulse used to live. Every dollar has a job. If the job is, make me feel better for 5 minutes, it will underperform. If the job is, build me quiet for the next 5 years, it will compound. You hire your dollars by the decisions you make when you're slightly uncomfortable. That's where you become different from your past. Some of you are thinking, this sounds hard. It is. But most of your life is already hard, and you're not paid for that hardness. You are paid when your hard becomes chosen. Chosen hard is where satisfaction lives. That satisfaction is the antidote to the constant itch to buy it from the outside. When you feel proud of your choices, ads feel smaller, status feels sillier. Your home feels enough. And enough is the richest word in money. Let me leave you with the pivot that snaps the whole story into place. You are not broke because you're bad with numbers. You are broke because your environment and your emotions are choreographing your choices without your permission. When you name the choreography, you take back the stage. When you take back the stage, you pick the dance. Pick the one where your future self doesn't have to apologize for your present self. Next time you feel the urge, breathe. Name it. This is anticipation, not necessity. Ask it. Is this buying an object, a signal, or a mood? If it's a mood, let it pass. If it's a signal, ask who you're signaling to and whether their opinion pays your bills. If it's an object, ask if it buys you time. If it doesn't buy time, it might be renting distraction. You know the price of distraction. You've paid it enough. You can leave this video and go back to the loop, where you can leave and adjust one thing: the first 5 minutes after payday. Redirect money before you can feel it. Celebrate that move. Track the feeling of control like it's a metric in your life. Control isn't cold. Control is warm. It's the warmth of mornings without panic. It's the warmth of yes when opportunity knocks. It's the warmth of knowing you didn't sell your future for a feeling you barely remember. You are not doomed. You are trained. And training can be retrained. Spend for utility, save for dignity, invest for time. Build a life where the loudest thing in the room isn't your impulse, it's your purpose. When purpose leads, money follows. When money follows, anxiety gets quiet. And when anxiety gets quiet, you stop needing to buy silence. You become the silence. If you felt that shift even once while we talked, hold on to it. The next urge will try to erase it. It won't. Because now you know the psychology of spending isn't your enemy, it's your engine. Point it at your future and press gently. You don't need a revolution. You need consistent, quiet wins. The loop breaks one decision at a time, and those decisions finally belong to you.